42. Admonish, Jackie's POV. James booked a ticket to San Diego and I left the next day. Now I stood outside a familiar door, holding a bouquet in my hands after knocking. Jacqueline Jones, my mother. She loves flowers. The door swung open, and the moment her twinkling eyes met mine, her surprised expression melted into pure joy. "Jackie!" Her voice trembled as her eyes welled up with tears. "Hey, Mom," I greeted softly. "My God!" She stepped forward and pulled me into a tight hug, the kind only a mother gives her only child. It was an emotional moment for both of us. We hadn't seen each other in almost a year. "This is for you, Mom." I handed her the bouquet. "Oh, it's beautiful, thank you." She took it with a bright smile, quickly wiping away her tears. "Come in, come." She grabbed my arm, pulling me inside. I glanced around the house, feeling strangely out of place. "Nice place, Mom," I said hesitantly. The last time I visited, she had been in a different house. My eyes landed on a framed photo on the wall, her and her husband. "He's not here, he's at work," she said calmly, noticing my stare. I nodded slowly. "Matt bought this house a few months ago. We sold the old one. It's closer to his supermarket." Matt, her current husband. I didn't hate him, but I never truly liked him either. He was the reason my mother and I no longer lived together. My father never cared for her, but at least she was happy now. I just miss having her around. "Come, sit. I made lasagna." "I'll be right back." She disappeared into the kitchen, and I sat in silence, scanning the room. The front door opened suddenly. Matt stepped in, carrying grocery bags. Our eyes met as he paused in his tracks. A few awkward seconds passed before he closed the door behind him and offered a slight smile. "Hello, Jackie." I stood up. "Good evening, Matt." He hung his car keys on the wall hook. "Oh, sit. I thought you were in India?" He gestured toward the couch as he took a seat in the single chair. "Yeah, I was. Something came up and I had to come back," I explained. "But I'm leaving this Sunday." He nodded and silence settled between us again. We never talked much. I had lived with my father, who despised this man. After my father passed away, I buried myself in work and never really made an effort to connect with Matt. He had always been welcoming, but I kept my distance. "So, how was India?" he asked, this time with a more genuine smile. "It's really, fascinating," I admitted honestly. "You're home." We both turned toward my mother, who beamed with excitement. "Yeah, honey," Matt replied, standing up to greet her. He kissed her gently on the cheek before glancing at me. "I brought some groceries. I'll put them in the kitchen." With that, he grabbed the bags and walked inside. Mom served me lasagna, and I savored every bite, relishing the familiar taste after so many years. Mom, this is the best thing you make," I complimented, and she chuckled. "You must have missed this in India, didn't you?" she asked. The moment she said it, my mind drifted to the lunch I had with Lavanya's family. I did miss this, but I also found something just as comforting. "Mom?" I called. "Do you know any Indian recipes?" "Indian recipes?" she repeated, raising an eyebrow. I nodded. "Well, I've had Indian food at restaurants, but I've never tried cooking it myself," she admitted. "Why do you ask?" Nothing, just curious," I mumbled with a small smile, taking another spoonful of lasagna. She gave me a suspicious look, watching me closely for a few seconds before finally speaking. "Did you meet someone in India?" I nearly choked on my food, quickly placing my empty plate on the table and reaching for my glass of water. I took a sip, avoiding her gaze. "You did meet someone, didn't you?" she pressed, her voice filled with quiet certainty. "What makes you think that?" I chuckled nervously. "I don't think I know," she said proudly, crossing her arms. "I'm your mother." She smiled knowingly. "Look at you, smiling, talking, eating, actually enjoying your meal without getting irritated, and also—" She narrowed her eyes. "You have a hint of blush." "Mom," I warned, "I'm not your daughter. Guys don't blush." I muttered the last part under my breath, making her chuckle. "All right, tell me, who is she?" "Who?" "The girl my son is thinking about right now." She paused before adding, "It is a girl, right?" "Mom." I stared at her in shock. "I am so straight. Come on, tell me about your new girlfriend." "She's not my girlfriend," I muttered, looking away. "So there's a she," Mom beamed. "Did you just trick me?" I asked, staring at her in disbelief. She grinned in response. Mom, I huffed. Tell me, tell me, tell me. She looked as excited as a child, grabbing a cushion from the couch and resting it on her lap. After a brief moment of hesitation, I sighed in defeat. She's just one of the employees, I admitted, tracing my index finger along the couch. And, Mom prompted. And she's beautiful, I confessed, picturing her face. She's completely unaware of the effect she has on people. I chuckled. Just like you, Mom added. No, she's different. In fact, she's unique. I leaned back slightly, lost in thought. She only wears Indian outfits and hates formal clothes. She can't walk in high heels. She keeps tripping. Stairs are her biggest enemies. She constantly forgets her keys. She loves old Bollywood music and hums along whenever she listens to it. Wait, Mom interrupted. Did you just say she wears Indian outfits? So she's Indian? I nodded hesitantly. Yeah, obviously since she works at D. Dawson in India. Jackie, she's Indian, Mom repeated, giving me a look that said, Are you sure about this? Yes, Mom, I know, I replied, sitting up straighter. But she's the best. No one in the world is like her. Well, I can see it in your eyes and the way you talk about her, Mom remarked, tilting her head slightly as she observed me. Mom, you'll love her, I reassured her, placing my left hand gently over hers. Of course I will, she smiled proudly. After all, my stubborn son Jackie Dawson is in love with her. What? I felt a jolt of awkwardness at her words. No, I don't think I love her. Not yet. Yes, you do, she insisted. I don't think so, Mom. I mean, I like her a lot, but love? I huffed. Come on, I'm Jackie Dawson. I know exactly who you are, she said, giving me a knowing look. And this Jackie Dawson is in love. She tapped her index finger against my chest. With an Indian girl? I fell silent, her words settling in my mind. Hey, don't worry, that's a good thing. Actually, it's the best thing, she said warmly. I'm so happy for you. She hugged me, and as I closed my eyes, Lavanya's face appeared in my thoughts. I had never imagined falling for an Indian girl. Am I really in love? Yes, I guess so. Mom? I murmured, still resting my chin on her shoulder. I missed you a lot. Me too, honey, she replied. She pulled away slightly, then patted my arm. But I want to know more about her. Tell me everything. I laughed and leaned back. Where do I even start? From the very beginning, how and when you met, what happened, everything. She nodded eagerly, eyes filled with excitement. I chuckled before launching into the story of my time in India. I told her how I met Lavanya, how she thought I was following her, how she ruined my shirt, how I accidentally hurt her, how she constantly lectured me, how we spent a whole night in my apartment, how she had those funny wedding dreams, how she made lunchboxes for me, how she argued while bargaining, and every little moment in between, except for the more intimate ones. Mom laughed, gasped, got emotional at times, and even scolded me when I told her about hurting Lavanya. It took me almost 2 hours to recount my short but unforgettable time in India. You are a naughty boy. She playfully slapped my arm after hearing everything. When I showed her Lavanya's pictures on my phone, she gasped. My God, she's so pretty. Look at her eyes. They're so captivating. And her skin, just gorgeous. She seems like such a sweet and innocent girl. Don't tease or hurt her like that again, she warned, her voice both firm and affectionate. I smiled at her request. I won't. Ever again. I'll try my best not to hurt her, I promised, but I can't promise not to tease her. It's too much fun watching her reactions. I laughed, and Mom shook her head before punching my arm lightly. You two look so good together, she said as she admired a picture of me and Lavanya standing in front of the Taj Mahal. After spending more than 6 hours with my mom, I finally decided it was time to leave. I need to go, Mom, I said, glancing at my watch. So soon? She pouted. I have a ton of work to finish, and I'm flying back to India on Sunday. We're launching a new product, I explained, getting up from the couch. Okay, she sighed. Then, just as I reached the door, she added, Next time, bring her with you. That made me grin at the thought. Miss Lavanya Verma in San Diego with me. Sounds crazy. After giving my mother a tight hug and saying our goodbyes, I finally left for San Francisco. Spending time with her had been wonderful. I knew things would be awkward with her husband, Matt, but I was in such a good mood that I didn't let it bother me. I flew back to San Francisco, and the moment I reached my mansion, I crashed onto my bed and slept for hours. Technically, this was my home, but it never felt like home. It was just a big, empty house, and I was always alone in it. By the time I woke up, it was already Saturday noon. With nothing to do, since the office was closed, I took a shower and headed downstairs for breakfast. The cook served me pancakes, toast, juice, and an omelet, just like he always did. I took a seat on one of the stools at the kitchen counter. Halfway through my meal, as he was carefully pouring juice into my glass, I asked, "Can you cook Indian food?" He paused, clearly caught off guard by the question, but I waited for his answer. "Yes, sir, I know a few Indian recipes, but I've never served them here," he said hesitantly. Then, with more enthusiasm, he added, "But I'm an expert in Thai, Chinese, and Italian cuisine." "Indian," I repeated, my expression unreadable. His confidence wavered. I'm sorry, sir, I'm not very familiar with Indian food," he admitted, lowering his gaze. I sighed. "I miss your cooking, love." After finishing breakfast, I went back upstairs, flopped onto my bed, and switched on the TV. As I mindlessly flipped through channels, an Indian music channel suddenly caught my attention. The vibrant visuals, the music, the language, it all reminded me of her. A slow smile crept onto my face. "Oh, love." I grabbed my phone from the side table and scrolled through the pictures I had of her. Beautiful. Without thinking, I dialed her number, eager to hear her voice. The phone rang, and my excitement grew. My heartbeat quickened. It kept ringing and ringing, but she didn't answer. I frowned, staring at my screen. I tried calling again and again, 3 times. Still no response. Then I noticed the dual clock on my phone screen. Oh, it's midnight in India. Her phone is probably on silent. I chuckled to myself and whispered, "Good night, love. Keep dreaming about me." Then I kissed her photo on my home screen. Just as I was sinking back into my thoughts, there was a knock on my door. Before I could say anything, James walked in. I groaned. "Why are you here?" I rolled my eyes, making no effort to hide my annoyance, and rested my head back on the pillows, staring at the ceiling. "I missed you, man. It's the weekend. Let's have some fun," he said way too enthusiastically. "I'm not in the mood to hang out," I replied bluntly, shooting him a cold glare. He blinked at me, open-mouthed, then silently walked over and threw himself onto the bed beside me. Propping himself up on one elbow, he rested his head on his palm and studied me with narrowed eyes. "You are so not the Jackie Dawson I knew," he stated. I glared at him from the corner of my eye. "What's going on with you?" he asked, curiosity laced in his voice. I didn't reply, choosing to remain silent. I wasn't sure what to say, or why I should even answer him. "Okay, sorry." He suddenly apologized, making me narrow my eyes at him in confusion. "For what?" I asked. "For calling her names, for making stupid comments about her, and for everything I said that pissed you off?" "Fine," he clarified. I clenched my jaw, shifting my eyes back to the ceiling, as his words brought back the anger I had felt when he'd made those inappropriate remarks about the only girl I truly cared about. "You're a bastard," I finally muttered. James laughed, resting the back of his head on the bed. "Thanks for forgiving me, my lord." I relaxed my jaw, but said nothing. After a few moments of silence, he asked, "How was it with your mom and stepdad?" His tone was casual now, as if we hadn't just had that conversation. "He's not my dad," I corrected him coldly. "He's just my mom's husband." "Yeah, I mean, they're good, finally doing well. They bought a new house near his supermarket. They've made a beautiful home there," I admitted, cutting him off. "That's good," he nodded before pausing. Then he asked, "And what about you?" "What about me?" I replied, my tone flat. "When are you going to make this a home?" His question caught me off guard, and I turned my head to look at him. He met my gaze. "Why is he talking like a mom?" "Jackie, you've been alone here since Mr. Dawson died. I see it every day. Why don't you just move on and start enjoying your life?" "Is he mad? Do I look like a depressed guy to him?" "I am enjoying my life, okay?" I snapped, sitting up in irritation. He huffed and sat up as well. "Yeah, sure, you are," he said sarcastically. I frowned. "What are you trying to say?" Letting out a deep sigh, he turned to look at me from the corner of his eyes. "You love her, and you're not admitting it. You think about her all the time. You want her in your life because you're alone, and she's here, He pointed at the left side of my chest. I glanced at his finger, then glared at him as he tapped my chest. But you refuse to accept that you need to bring her here. He gestured around my room. I frowned, completely baffled by what he was saying. After a brief pause, he spoke again. Bring her into your life, Jackie. She's the key to your happiness. Can't you see that? I mean, look at you. You used to be stubborn, insensible, carefree, but now you're reflecting her in everything you do. I scoffed. Is James seriously advising me to stick to a single girl? Of course, he declared. You're my best friend and I love you, man. Why do you think only women can be sensible? Men can be good boys too, you know. He smirked. And as your good friend, I'm telling you to stop running from this. Be with her. That's what you need right now. You really can't talk so much nonsense in a single minute. You sound like a woman from the 12th century, I muttered, furrowing my brows at him. James burst out laughing. Well, you're acting like one. I narrowed my eyes at him. Tell her, man, he urged, shrugging. Tell her what? I asked, looking away, even though I already knew what he meant. That you love her. I don't know if I love her or not, but I'm damn sure I hate you right now. I don't know how she would react, I admitted reluctantly. I had no interest in discussing my private feelings about a girl with James, but this man was a damn pest. He could pry open any locked chest of secrets. Well, either she'll say, I love you. A smile tugged at my lips at that thought. Or she'll say, I'm sorry, but I don't think of you that way, Mr. Dawson. My smile vanished instantly. Oh no. Yeah, she'll probably run away. She could also just say no. The mere thought of her rejecting me sent a wave of unease through my chest. No. I can't. It was supposed to stay in my head, but the words slipped out of my mouth. Why not? James asked, raising an eyebrow. I'm not sure if she feels the same way, I muttered. That's the only way to find out, Jackie. He cut me off. You have to tell her to know what she thinks about you. You'll only get one of two answers, a yes or a no. And I think she wouldn't slap her boss. He smirked. Well, she's already done that. I recalled the night she slapped me, and an involuntary chuckle escaped my lips. You never know, I murmured. What? James frowned. She's not like other girls. She's a girl, that's enough? And what exactly makes you so confident? I narrowed my eyes. Because all girls are the same. They either focus on looking beautiful or driving men crazy with their tantrums. I rolled my eyes at his idiotic theory. Girls say, I love you way too easily, he added. In the US, maybe, I corrected. But what about my girl? Everywhere, he insisted. Just 3 words and bam, game over. She's Indian, I pointed out. Not just by blood, but by her thoughts, too. And what's that supposed to mean? Weird and crazy, I smirked. He raised both eyebrows. Okay, just tell her. What's the worst that could happen? She says no or slaps you? His words hit me like a punch to the gut. Shut up, just shut the fuck up, I snapped. Whoa, chill, man. He raised his hands, startled. Why are you so pissed? Because I don't want to see your face right now. You are pissing me off. Dude, you're so screwed. He shook his head. Stop getting frustrated. You have a phone. Dial her number and get it over with. I rolled my eyes. Does he think I'm that stupid? It's midnight in India, I muttered. She's probably sleeping. My voice softened at the last 3 words. If she loves you, she'll pick up, he declared confidently. Well, then she doesn't, because I've already called her 3 times and she didn't pick up. Keep calling. She'll definitely pick up. He winked. Lovers don't check the time. I rolled my eyes again. Of course, that's why you're here at this hour, dear lover. The sarcasm in my voice made him laugh. I love you more than anything, man, he teased. I groaned, got up from the bed and walked toward the window. San Francisco is as busy as ever. Hey, caller, James said from behind me, still lounging on my bed. No, I refused immediately. Caller, man. No, I trailed off. After a few seconds of silence, I turned to look at James, only to find him holding my phone. My eyes narrowed as I slowly walked toward him. What are you doing? He didn't answer. Instead, he just smirked. My eyes widened in instant panic. No, Is he calling her? No, no, no. James, I warned, quickening my pace. Give me my phone back. His smirk stretched into a grin. I said, give me my phone back. I lunged for him, but he darted away, laughing like a lunatic. He dodged me effortlessly, jumping from the bed to the floor while holding the phone against his ear. It's ringing and ringing. God, is she a bear? He teased as he continued escaping my grasp. Come on, lady, wake up. James, do you want to die? I snarled through gritted teeth, standing in the middle of the room while he stood smugly in the corner. Hello, miss, he greeted suddenly, then turned to me, mouthing, she picked up. Shit! I charged at him. What the hell, just give my phone back, I hissed, baring my teeth. I was inches away when he threw his arm up, keeping the phone out of my reach. James, give me, I whispered furiously. No, Jackie, he mocked, raising his voice deliberately. I punched him straight in the face. Help, Miss Lavna, what's her name again? He shouted into the phone, looking at me expectantly. I shot him a deadly glare. His hand would not stay still, making it impossible for me to snatch the phone. Excuse me, hello, who is this? The second I heard her voice, I froze. Lavanya. My eyes locked onto the phone still clutched in his hand. The speaker was on. It's James, he answered smugly, smirking at me. I clenched my jaw. James who? His smirk vanished. I nearly laughed. She doesn't even remember James. I'm sorry, I can't hear you clearly. I don't know any James. This seems like an international call. I guess you dialed the wrong number, Mr. James. You've called an Indian number, she explained politely. I smiled. Yeah, that's possible. Or maybe you have a crazy lover from across the world. My eyes widened in horror. Huh? She sounded confused. I snatched the phone from his hand, ended the call, and turned on my heel, marching back to my bed. But not before shooting him a murderous glare. Hey, James called after me, trailing behind. Talk to her. Get the hell out of here, James, or I'll punch you to death. I threw him a warning glare over my shoulder, eyes blazing. Okay, I'm going, he said defensively, raising both hands in surrender. I didn't stop glaring until he finally closed the door behind him. The second he was gone, I exhaled in relief. Lavanya. I stared at my phone, debating whether to call her back. I didn't. I'll surprise her on Monday. A smirk curled on my lips as I imagined her reaction. That will be worth watching.
Lavanya's POV. On Saturday, I got ready after Virat. Sir texted me the time he would pick me up. Who is he? Mama asked. He was my senior in college and also a good friend. Now, he's the manager in the advertising department at our office. I replied politely, though my tone carried a hint of nervousness. You didn't ask her so many questions when she went out with Mr. Dawson? Daddy countered, glancing at Mama. That's because we met that Dawson boy. We've never seen this Virat guy, Mama reasoned. Oh, Sudha, this is completely normal these days. At least she's being honest about going out with a friend, Daddy replied. But, Mama started, clearly unconvinced. No buts, Daddy interrupted. I also thought Mr. Dawson was a bad influence at first, but he turned out to be such a gentleman. Don't trust strangers, fine, but at least have some trust in your own daughter. He tried to reassure her, occasionally glancing at me. Okay, Mama finally relented, but keep your GPS on so we can track you. Sudha. No Sudha Voda, Mama snapped, cutting Daddy off before turning her stern gaze to me. And you, be home on time. Yes, Mama. I nodded rapidly. A few moments of awkward silence followed before the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Virat sir standing outside with a big smile. Hi, he whispered. Hello, I greeted him back. Then, I noticed his smile falter as his gaze shifted past me to something behind my shoulder. I turned to look, and sure enough, Daddy was standing there, smiling at him. Unbelievable. Daddy? I whispered loudly, causing him to look at me. "Stop staring," I pleaded. He merely shrugged and blinked innocently, as if he hadn't been doing anything. Shaking my head, I stepped aside and invited Virat sir in. He introduced himself to my parents, shaking hands with Daddy, while Mama offered him snacks, which he politely declined. "Shall we leave, Lavanya?" he asked after a brief chat with my parents about his family and work. "Sure." Waving goodbye to my parents, I followed him out of the apartment building. "Wow, that was awkward," he muttered as soon as he sat in the driver's seat. "Awkward? Why?" I asked, confused about what exactly he found awkward. "Nothing, I just mean, parents can be scary sometimes." I didn't particularly like his comment, but I kept my opinion to myself. For me, parents are like gods. They're everything. I love them just the way they are. The sound of the engine starting brought me back to reality. As he drove, I found myself lost in thought.